Good morning. It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This could be the first day of the rest of our lives. It could be the worst day of the lives of a young Detroit Pistons fan as they reckon with the pain, the pang of loss last night. You woke up today. Good morning, by the way. I'll reemphasize. In Allen, Texas, home of the Eagles. That's the town that has that big ass high school football stadium. You woke up in Allen, Texas. You thought, I like the NBA, Dallas Mavericks fan. Game 7, it's on a Sunday. I can put that on, watch a little golf, read a little bit about Aaron Rodgers being the Pittsburgh Steelers starting quarterback next year. Tap into the NHL, where it looks like we're on a crash course for the Hurricanes to take on the Avalanche, the NHL Finals. You keep the pulse of sports. And here's the cool thing. Waking up in Allen, Texas today. If you do not keep the pulse of sports, if you're like, couldn't really make it, went to church last night, or, the Sunday nights tonight we do dinner as a family, TV off. If that's the case, that's why today when you wake up to go to the gym, today when you wake up to go to you get an early shift, 7 o'clock shift, when you wake up to do these things, that's where this show is. That's where Westwood One Sports takes over. And I watched it all, so you didn't have to. I watched the complete and utter disappointment that the Cleveland Cavaliers put onto the Detroit Pistons. It wasn't as much that Detroit lost this game as that Cleveland just dominated, asserted its will in the contest. And if you didn't get to watch the game last night, Curtis Poindexter running the board, Addie Bates producing, luckily we have compiled the highlights. All right, take it away. That's it. That's it. There aren't any. In a Game 7 where you fully expect for a home team, 1 seed, to act like a home team, 1 seed. I'm watching a video right now on my television. Highlights still playing on a loop. Where the arena is half empty. Where Cavs players in the third and fourth quarter of this game are turning toward the crowd and yelling, "Sit yo ass down. You're down by 30. It is a Game 7 in Detroit. And you would have thought this was Game 3. Throw it away. Somebody got injured. And we don't necessarily have to win. That was the air around this contest from pretty much the beginning. Cleveland got out 31-22. Dominated the first quarter over Detroit. Then 33-25, dominated the second quarter. Then 35-26. If you broke this game down into quarters, Cleveland won every single quarter. And their tightest margin of victory in each quarter was 5. 26-21 in the fourth. 125-94, the Cleveland Cavaliers over the Detroit Pistons. As mentioned, we will hit Aaron Rodgers today. We will touch on the NHL, on SGA's MVP and how Shai Gilgeous-Alexander found out way earlier. The world found out way earlier than we were supposed to, because it was supposed to be a big announcement on Amazon Prime, because you obviously are excited to turn on your Amazon Prime to hear if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander won the MVP. We'll get there. We'll get to golf. We'll get to a history made over the weekend. But we need to start here in the National Basketball Association. Because the Detroit Pistons, their rhetoric post-game, this wasn't a disappointment. We're just happy. We're proud to be here, happy to be here, against a Cleveland Cavaliers team. No. A Cleveland Cavaliers brand that has not been to the Eastern Conference Finals since a guy named LeBron James wore that jersey. This is a disappointment for Detroit, and then a little bit more on top of that. Let's say you're a Detroit Pistons fan, I don't know, living in New York. Hope you're having a really bad day today. Pistons shot 30 for 85. Cleveland, 43 for 85. The idea that both of these teams took the same number of shots, you look toward the free throw line, where Detroit, 22 for 29. That's not very good. 22 for 29 is not very good at all. Just for Cleveland to say, hey, hold my missed free throw, 28 for 44. The windows, I didn't think that Cleveland played an incredible game. Behind the arc, 32%, 11 for 34. That's fine. 28 for 44 is bad. How did Cleveland do this? On the same number of shots, how'd they do it? Efficiency. 51% shooting versus a Pistons team that went cold, that went quiet. And that's why this should be a disappointment, is because that's the story of the Pistons postseason. It's why you went to 7 against the Orlando Magic. It's why you went to 7 in this series against the Cavs, is to be for a team that is the 1 seed and has Cade Cunningham, one of the best players alive, one of the best players, maybe the best player in the East. For you to have such a lack of offense, namely when it mattered most, that's why this is crushing. And to rush it, hey, let's jack up some threes. Come on, we got to rally quick. No. That's the reason that the points in the paint, it's the reason the field goal percentage is such an efficient number for Cleveland, is their 58 points in the paint compared to Detroit's 34. No reliable option down low. No reliable scoring option for Detroit. And the final score is a 31-point blowout in favor of Cleveland. Let's check in on Cade Cunningham and see what his stat line looks like last night. Because it says here he played, hold on. Oh, wait. Gotta be a typo here. Bonafide star, first overall draft pick, rebuild your franchise around him. He's the guy. We have to put in the right pieces to help the guy. Cade Cunningham played 37 minutes last night. That was the most on the team for Detroit. Cade Cunningham, 13 points. 5 of 16 shooting. Yes, you, my friend in Allen, Texas, and by now you're in Frisco. That's where you like to work out. By now you're in Frisco. You last night, eating dinner with your family at the table with the TV off, had the exact same amount of three-pointers as Cade Cunningham. You had the same number of three-pointers as Cade Cunningham and Tobias Harris combined. Tobias Harris, who's been the talk of the series, is that, there's that extra option. Here's the guy who's going to step up for Detroit to help Asar Thompson and Cade Cunningham. Harris had 5 points, 0 for 6 from the field. All 5 of his points coming from the line, 0 for 2 from deep. Cade Cunningham, for the flashes of greatness that he has shown in this postseason, was bad last night. And last night wasn't a Game 3 on the road. Last night was a Game 7 at home. And I don't think you can get away with that and the response be, well, we're not disappointed. But it's exactly what the head coach of the Detroit Pistons said at the podium. J.B. Bickerstaff said that his team, the 1 seed in the East, didn't fall short of anything. We have his audio from his post-game press conference last night.
I'm not saying in the guys necessarily, but the season as a whole, and also I'm sure you had higher expectations. Falling far short of that, I guess, is that a disappointment?
I don't think we fell short of anything, and I don't like the direction of your question. I'll be honest with you. These guys have improved massively and done a great job. Anything other than positivity towards this group is unacceptable. The turnaround from where we've come from, what these guys have been willing to do. Yeah, everybody wants to win a championship every year. But, how much did you grow? How much did you improve? Did you sacrifice for the greater good of the team? Our guys did that collectively every single day, and we got better. We put ourselves in position to be here. So there's nothing disappointing about this group and the outcome of this.
Holy bad. I coached a 6th grade youth pee-wee basketball team for a few years, and I hated losing. Von Frauenbarger would go out there and drop 31 points as a 5th grader, 6th grader. If we lost the game, I'm not coming to the podium saying, the growth of our team, the growth of this. No, learning lesson. Losing is a learning lesson. Losing makes winning feel even better. But to say I'm not disappointed, I have no issue. There was nothing wrong with how this played out. after you lost by 31 points on your home floor. I want Detroit Pistons fans to feel what you felt 24 hours ago, like you were a contender, to feel what you felt 24 hours ago, like you could win the NBA title, that you could beat the Knicks and go play the Thunder and play spoiler, have an upset. You felt that. Hope. You had hope. And you got blown out by 31 at home. And your coach says, hey, there's nothing else we have left to be desired. We did it all this season. We didn't fall short of anything. We didn't fall short last night. You fell short by not 10, not double digits, not 20, 30 points. Cade Cunningham was a little bit more direct at the podium. This is what I expected to hear from anyone wearing that Pistons logo. He said his night sucked.
Obviously didn't end the season on the note you guys wanted to end it on.
Yeah. That game sucked. Being back home, definitely wanted to get this win from the fans. Reminded me of last year, losing on the home court. It's not a great feeling. So I hadn't been thinking about the off season. So, my mind's been racing now, trying to figure out, what I got to do, what it's going to look like. That's really it.
That sounds like a Cade Cunningham who needs help. A Cade Cunningham who needs the help of an extra scorer. A Cade Cunningham who needs somebody that he can rely on to consistently shoot 3-pointers. Somebody else, please. He's looking around the starting five, saying, who else here? There's also a world, and maybe there is reprieve if you're a Detroit Pistons fan. There's a world where we look back 10, 12 years from now at this Pistons roster and laugh about how little help Cade Cunningham had. We giggle about that, 07 Cavs team and who LeBron had built around him, taking a team to the NBA Finals. Like, oh, LeBron and who? What if that's how we view this Detroit Pistons team 10 years from now? There are veterans on the roster. I think Asar Thompson, alongside Cade Cunningham, will be an exception to that he will also be a stalwart for this team, for the NBA. But there's a world in which the Pistons, historically, don't shake out. And it sounded like Cade Cunningham in his postgame press conference wanted to make note of that. Now what? I need help. On a night where if I have an off night, which your star cannot have an off night. Your star cannot have an off night in Game 7 at home. But if he has an off night, who else is there to row the boats? Who else is there to pick him up? Thompson had 5 points. Jenkins had 17. He was the team leader with 17. Duncan Robinson had 13. Detroit has a bona fide star. Then what? As for Cleveland, the team that I told you 4 weeks ago, I'm not going to shy away from it. The team I told you 4 weeks ago was not a contender. They couldn't have looked better. And now Donovan Mitchell, for the first time in his career, a guy who was stuck in Utah just trying to win postseason games in a brutal East. Donovan Mitchell, on his career and making the NBA making the conference finals for the first time in his career. Here is Donovan Mitchell.
This is the first time that you have gotten to the conference finals. For you, what does this mean?
A breath of fresh air, but like you said, we didn't just come here that wasn't the goal when we started the season. Even last year, when we lost Indiana, we had our goals set on getting to the finals, and we're just one step closer. But yeah, it's been almost a decade of running into the same issue, right? So sure, I personally and as a team, we can breathe a little bit, but in the same token, we can only breathe for about 12 hours and then get right back to it. So it's a balance. It's a blessing. God is good. And I wouldn't be here without my teammates, but we got work to do coming up for sure.
The aforementioned Donovan Mitchell in the Western Conference with the Jazz had an impossible task as he was growing up at the NBA alongside guys like Jokic, the Warriors, as they were finishing off their dynasty. And he moves over to the East, and now he's in the conference finals after knocking off the 1 seed, Detroit. I thought it was a touching moment post-game. Cameras went into the locker room of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Kenny Atkinson, the head coach, gave a message for the first time this postseason, stopped and gave a message in front of the entire team about that guy you just heard from, Donovan Mitchell, and his effect on the entire organization.
But I was going to do this whether we won or whether we lost. We turn to you. Not just your on-court, but your leadership and your positivity when things were really not going great. And so whether we won or lost tonight, we never celebrate you in these things. You don't want that. You don't want the praise. But tonight, you deserve the praise. And you're going home. And you deserve this more than everybody. Everybody played great. Come on, man.
Hey, enjoy it. But like, we didn't just come here just to do this. We went to, you know what I'm saying? So like, till tomorrow, till we land. Enjoy it, and then we go from there, right?
What do you got, Don?
Family on 3, 1, 2, 3.
What a great moment. Kenny Atkinson, tip of the hat to his star, Donovan Mitchell. And Donovan Mitchell saying, hey, we're not done. It's not over. There's still more we want to accomplish. That guy from the Drake Tolles show said that we weren't a real contender. Day by day, 30-point win in Game 7. Pretty good way to change somebody's mind. When we come back, who knows how many times this guy has changed his mind. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Here's why that sucks. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Tolles Show.
The two best teams.
and I was taking shots from the front and the back.
Interesting per se.
Anyway.
It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Addy Bates produces. Curtis Poindexter presses the buttons. 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910. You can call or text the show. Idiots. Losers. Those who have been fooled by big gooners. Those who have been fooled by a wolf in sheep's clothing. For as much evidence as Diana Rossini was captured yesterday, they got her. She was captured yesterday just in public, sitting at a dinner table with her friends, having a bite to eat. On Mother's Day, she was kissing her husband. Like, we follow Diana Rossini around the world. And turns out we've been following her since 2020, taking pictures and videos of everything that she does. So how, then, could Aaron Rodgers be married, marriage, in this secret pact with a woman, but someone as high profile as Aaron Rodgers is a guy who we can never figure out who his wife is? Or if he's even telling the truth. What do you mean telling the truth? Well, Aaron Rodgers has been known to do some crazy things, say some crazy things, not always be on base. Well, explain. This ayahuasca trip stuff. Remember when he was going out of the country? He went dark after the wild card loss to Houston, a disappearing act that led to ESPN reporters comparing him to Taylor Swift. Or these self-imposed artificial deadlines that he put on him. This is just him as a Pittsburgh Steeler. The weird facility visit. Chris Mack, who found out from the franchise that Rodgers wasn't in Pittsburgh. No one knew where he was. Or the fact that walking into the quarterback room, he might not say a word in the next 365 days to Drew Aller or Will Howard. And the whole UFA tender, that unrestricted free agent tender, the rare one, that paperwork he's signing. All of this has been controversy for Aaron Rodgers in his time with Pittsburgh, dating back to those days where he was going on these drug-filled trips to decide what he wanted to do with his future. He would go to New York, play for the Jets for all of 2 plays. And then you'll also recall in that season from Rodgers, lest we forget, he would tell the world, I want to come back and play. Aaron, it's week 8. You tore your Achilles. That's not legal. They arrest people for that. He said, nope, I've been doing this secret treatment. It's reforming my bones. My ligaments, my muscles, everything's become stronger. Aaron, no. That's what drugs do to you. That's what drugs make you say. And remember the game, it's like week 11, week 12, where he walks out of the sideline, full uniform, fully torn Achilles, and is throwing the ball. What a disaster the end of Aaron Rodgers' career has been. His numbers reflected Jacoby Brissett's last year. I think what we have to get past, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, if you're an NFL fan, I like Aaron Rodgers. He's the dying breed of that era of quarterbacks. A Rodgers, a Ben Roethlisberger, a Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, the guys who are at the top of the NFL. Rodgers was in that category at that time. I like the nostalgia of it. But the practicality's not there. If Aaron Rodgers was named Josh McCown, putting up Josh McCown numbers, again, putting up Jacoby Brissett numbers last year, would you care this hard? Would you fight this hard for him to be your quarterback? Would you want old man Josh McCown as your quarterback? Would this be a storyline for you in the offseason? It has to be for Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I want you to know we are not talking about Aaron Rodgers, the Super Bowl champion under Mike McCarthy. We're talking about 22nd year, 42-year-old, broken, banged up, I can't move, all my bones hurt, Aaron Rodgers under Mike McCarthy. 1 year, $22 million guaranteed. He's going to rob the Pittsburgh Steelers of $22 million. And I hope the fan base in Pittsburgh is polarized, because at some point, if this is prime Patrick Mahomes or prime Tom Brady or prime Joe Montana, yeah, hey, take 2 or 3 months to decide what you want to do. We're just hopeful that you are a quarterback next year. You're a little less frustrated then, aren't you? When you know you're getting an elite product, yeah, he strung us along for a few months, but at least he's coming back, and I think this team's going to compete. That's not the case for Rodgers. That you didn't just get a contending quarterback, you got old man Aaron Rodgers back into your facility, who has done nothing but cause controversy for you. And yes, he led your team to the playoffs last season. Yes, he led Pittsburgh to the playoffs. But do you want to read you the list of quarterbacks that have done that in Pittsburgh since Ben Roethlisberger made his exit? The Steelers have won in spite of their quarterbacks for years now, have won in spite of the Mike Tomlin questions for years now. And the quarterback that you so desperately wanted back, the guy who you gave all the time in the world, who you gave the upper hand to, his performance last year got your coach fired. Oh, sorry. Mike Tomlin stepped away. That's what we want. Well, he's Aaron Rodgers. I get that. He used to be Aaron Rodgers. Again, last season he led you to the playoffs. And what happened in that playoff game? He gets smacked, can't move the ball once against the Houston Texans, who themselves got smacked by the Patriots. And I know transitive property doesn't always work in the NFL, but that's got to add to the sting, huh? He does that, and after that loss, the offense is non-existent. He says deuces. Steelers like, no. Hey, Aaron, wait. Are you coming back next year? Hey, wait, Aaron! As he's pulling out of the facility. And since that day, it's May. It's the middle of May. 5 months. Non-contact. Middle school relationship. Well, I think we're still boyfriend and girlfriend, but she's not talking to me right now. Listen to that. I think we're still boyfriend and girlfriend, but she's not talking to me right now. I think we're still quarterback and franchise, but he's not talking to me right now. Does that sentence make you feel good? Does that embarrassment pay off for you, Pittsburgh? For the 42-year-old, Aaron Rodgers, the tape didn't lie in 2025. Rodgers no longer a vertical threat. That's what made him an MVP, was his vertical threat. And according to PFF and Next Gen Stats, he was dead last a year ago. Listen to this. Dead last a year ago among qualified quarterbacks in completed air yards per attempt. When you get to work today, when you get to the gym today, when you talk to your friend from Somerset, Pennsylvania, and you're talking about Aaron Rodgers, here's the number. I'm going to give you the number that you use to be the genius in the room. Dead last in the league in completed air yards per attempt. Well, that's kind of convoluted, man. Could you help me out, make it smoother? Every time Aaron Rodgers threw the ball last year, it's been an average of 3.3 yards in the air. What? Every time he completed a pass last year, I should say, 3.3 yards. That's how far the ball went in the air. 68% of his passes traveled under 10 yards. And your friends, their minds will be blown. Pittsburgh Steelers fans really want Aaron Rodgers, the guy whose completions last season averaged 3 yards in the air. Oh. The Steelers will find themselves next year this year, we're 100 days away, running a hyper-conservative, underneath, dump-off offense. They're going to once again be predictable. It's what lost them the game against the Texans. It's what's going to lose them games in 2026. Not only that, you delay Drew. What if we live in a world where Aaron Rodgers walks into the facility and says, I'm not talking to Drew Aller. It's not my job to coach up young quarterbacks. I don't need this right now on my plate. And instead of giving Drew Aller time, you know Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to split time. You know that working Drew Aller into the rotation is not going to be a thing. And the heir to the throne in Pittsburgh, if it is Aller, takes a back seat for a year where he might not learn anything. For a year where he might not do anything. Because this is the Aaron Rodgers show. So why is this happening, huh? Why did Rodgers say yes to this? Why did Pittsburgh say yes to this? Because none of what I've given you so far is really good news. I don't think this is a move that's going to help Pittsburgh contend. And shortly they will do the thing when they go 9-8 and make the postseason somehow. Because that's welcome to Pittsburgh. The debatable decision to hire Mike McCarthy, which might have been based on Aaron Rodgers' return, by the way. If that is the truth, what an even worse dumpster fire than I thought. But the reunion with Rodgers and McCarthy, this mirrors a 13-year run in Green Bay when he was young, when Rodgers was young, and when McCarthy was in his coaching prime. And in an NFL where Sean McVay patrols the sidelines and offenses thrive on innovation, pre-snap motion, dynamic quarterback mobility, your quarterback does not have that. And your head coach is an old dog, and I'm not seeing any new tricks. Oh, and in an unforgiving defensive division, did you hear that $22 million number? Last year, putting up the same stats as Jacoby Brissett, Aaron Rodgers took $13.6 million from the Pittsburgh Steelers. This year, he'll take $22 million, and that deal with incentives can reach $25 million. What did you see, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, that makes you think, what has he done to get a $9 million raise that you have not done? That's a $9 million guarantee raise, a $12 million total raise. The cap space could have been used to secure depth. Wide receiver, offensive line, something to build around Aller, or have Will Howard as a gap guy for a year. The minefield of the AFC North is going to chew up and spit out Aaron Rodgers, the same way the Houston Texans did in that 30-6 wild card blowout. The front office, content. The same old Steelers, 9 or 10 wins. Up top, nice. Playoff berth. Obviously, structurally, we're incapable of competing in the AFC to actually win anything of value, to go to the Super Bowl, to win at the highest level. Surely we'll be stricken down by C.J. Stroud of the Houston Texans, that elite quarterback. Well, no, he's a bad quarterback. Well, yeah, he 30-6. Against the Steelers last year. Is that what you want, storied franchise? To just float and hope and never really compete? If so, keep at it. That's why your coach left, was to avoid that entire sentence, that entire mentality. And you're doing it again with Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. Pittsburgh Steelers fans, you are a decade away from competing for titles in the NFL, from competing for titles in the AFC. That would not make me feel good. Coming up, our biggest losers of the day, right here on the Drake Toll Show. It is Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show.
The Patriots want
It is the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Curtis Poindexter runs the board. Addy Bates produces. Happy Monday, everybody. What a weekend it was. We will see the San Antonio Spurs meet the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight in the NBA after last night the Cleveland Cavaliers knocked off the Detroit Pistons. Not knocked off, dominated. Belt to ass, 125-94. A 31-point win for Cleveland in Detroit in Game 7. Welcome to being a Detroit Pistons fan. And tonight, this is the series. It's the NBA Finals begin tonight, the Spurs and the Thunder. Teams that combined in the regular season for 126 wins. The Spurs and the Thunder will play in Oklahoma City with OKC as a 6.5-point favorite despite the Spurs' success in the regular season against OKC. In the NHL tonight, double box, Sabres, Canadians, Game 7. Who will win that series to take on the Carolina Hurricanes, who've sat at home for the last, 10 days, it feels like now? Who of the Canadians and Sabres? With the game in Buffalo, where Buffalo has struggled, who will advance? I thought this weekend in the NFL, the storyline of the week being Aaron Rodgers going back to Pittsburgh would be story number one. But there's also the NFL, maybe a sneaky one that we'll get to this week. The NFL is pushing back now pretty vehemently on fans that are upset with streaming. Oh, you're mad? There are only 11 places to watch NFL games and you have to pay for all 11 of them? Well, too bad, poor people. It gives more access to people who have money. What? And that's a great segue into today's biggest losers of the day. Biggest loser number one, Nick Saban, yesterday in the UFL, the Birmingham Stallions. Their head coach is A.J. McCarron. You know, the guy who played for Nick Saban at Alabama, national champion in Alabama. He's dating Miss Alabama. That A.J. McCarron is now a coach in the UFL. Here's what he had to say about Nick Saban and halftime speeches after the Stallions rallied for a win yesterday.
Brother, I wish we play games off of speeches, but I don't care if you're Coach Saban or Lombardi. A speech doesn't do anything for a player. I mean, just gets them focused up on little things, but I'm not amping these guys to go play. I mean, we're grown men. We all get paid to do a job. They're gonna go out and perform to the best of their ability.
All right, come on. Even if you didn't play professional football, college football even, halftime speeches, pregame speeches, you told me they didn't affect the way you played? There was something about it, man. That's what got me going every time. Maybe that's why I was cut in high school. But I personally am pro halftime speech reinvigorating a roster. Biggest losers of the day, the NBA. For not just the NBA, for allowing the SGA MVP news to leak to Shams. But this response from Amazon Prime, who was supposed to air the news last night, and Blake Griffin effectively telling Shams to get a life. Here's how it sounded on Prime.
All right, now, just to be clear, the official announcement is happening here. Dirk and Steve, you all both won MVPs, but I don't remember Shams spoiling it way back then.
I don't think he was around then. He was a baby then. Yeah, what are we doing, man? Like, it's Sunday, Shams. Go to brunch, you nerd. Come on.
There are other things.
Anyway.
Prime, I mean, it's already a bad idea that you, America, had to turn on Amazon Prime, pay for Amazon Prime, tune in to get this news. It's already a bad idea to make this much out of it. And even worse, that the NBA's top reporter was like, oh, look, here's this information right here. I'm going to tweet it out because that's my job. He did. The NBA got really mad, but dog, it's not that deep. The points don't matter. No one's counting. And it's not about you. This MVP news, no one is, hey, we got to block off 7 o'clock to see who won the MVP. It doesn't work like that. Now, if ESPN broadcasts the Heisman announcement, that's different. Same time, every year, you know when to expect it, what to expect, what channel to expect. You have that channel. You're not paying extra for Prime. Replicating that didn't work. I think the idiot in this situation, the loser in this situation, the obituary goes to the NBA and Amazon Prime. Biggest loser of the day, Lane Kiffin. There's a specific reason, about a minute of this from Neil McCready. There's a specific reason about why Lane Kiffin is coming after Ole Miss this week.
How's your week been, Neil?
It was not the week I expected to have. I'm working on 10 thoughts for my website. I'm basically writing now what I was planning on writing in September. I figured why not? Because there's been a lot of history that's being revised in a lot of camps over the last 4 days or so. Here's the nut graph, though. Lane Kiffin's trying to burn down Ole Miss because Lane Kiffin's still mad that he didn't get to coach in the playoffs. Yet Lane Kiffin knew as early as late October, early November, coaching Ole Miss through the playoffs and being the head coach at Florida or LSU was not on the menu. Could I recommend the chicken piccata? Nah, that's not what I want. I want beef Wellington. Beef Wellington's not on the menu. But I want beef Wellington, but it's not on the menu. We don't serve that, sir. That's where we are with Lane Kiffin, and there's a lot more to it than that. It's where the whole corner chair thing came from.
That is exactly where the corner chair came from. Lane Kiffin. Don't get it. Don't understand why he has such malice against Ole Miss, a place that gave him all of his demands to the very end, and almost until the actual end. When nearing midnight, they said, hey, last thing, if you're not our coach, you can't coach the playoffs. Well, why? Because you're not our coach. That's the fit that Lane Kiffin's been throwing. And it's why he called Oxford so racist. Biggest loser of the day, the Mets. One of the worst plays you can draw up. And Joe Davis is spot on with kind of a sentence that is applicable for the Mets and will be for the rest of time.
Bellinger flies the first one to right center field. Bench drops the ball. Oh no, the Mets. Judges in to score 5-3.
I'll pick it. The boos rang down for the New York Mets and their comedy of errors. But here's the good news. While the sentence, oh no, the Mets is again applicable, the Metropolitans, a series win in the Subway Series against the New York Yankees after dropping game 1 5-2 and then winning 6-3 and 7-6 in a pretty electric 10-inning game yesterday. Addie Bates, this is probably a stupid question. Are the Mets back?
No. That's it.
They beat the only good team in the AL.
There's one team that's back. It's the Phils. That's about it. Mets still suck.
Interesting per se.
Well, like 14-4 in their last 18?
15-4.
Oh! The Phillies are back. The Mets are not. Still 20-26 for New York this season, and the Yankees 28-19. Not sure if they're going to blink. Did we have anything in Biggest Losers on the Texas Rangers, or are we going to skip over that today?
That's up to you. That's up to you if you want to talk about your team sucking and losing a series to one of the worst teams in the AL. My Houston Astros.
Can the entire AL West be our biggest loser every day, please?
And y'all lost 2 out of 3.
Correct.
Anyway.
Biggest loser of the day. These NFL teams, after last week's schedule release, 5 NFL teams, 0 primetime games. The Jets, the Titans, the Raiders, the Cardinals, and the Dolphins. Addie, are you going to be upset to not see the Jets, Titans, Raiders, Cardinals, and Dolphins in primetime?
Yes. I really was planning my weekends around that.
What?
As someone who loves to follow the Ravens, Dolphins, Jets, no. I couldn't care less. I'm a Saints fan, so as long as I get to see them once, I'm
think
fine.
The Raiders could be the only team out of... I don't think the Jets will be good. The Titans, not shocking. The Cardinals and Dolphins want to be bad. The Raiders could compete. I think Tom wants them to win, so that's the only one that I'll throw in there is a possible
Raiders.
wild card to need some primetime.
You think they're a possible wild card?
Mendoza. Yeah, I think this is the year they want to actually compete. And I'm cool with that. Also, Max Crosby wants to play for them? Question mark. I think they're out of the era of let's lose on purpose. Therefore, 9 or 10 wins is attainable. And if they do win 9 or 10 games, playing in primetime once, like a Thursday, would be nice. And I was taking shots from the front and the back. That's me power ranking the bad teams in the NFL. Sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. Coming up, obituaries today. The Ballroom? Oh, yeah. Addie Bates produces. Curtis Poindexter runs the board. Our biggest losers. Later on, obituaries up next. This, what is the Drake Toll Show?
This is Westwood One Sports.
Go on trial just for laughing at the joke, just for saying of the bargain what any sales girl already knows. Most of us old men die at the firing line, just waiting for our number to be called. I guess time just makes fools of us all. Now the king regales his stepson when he's loaded as a gun. Says a real man is like a country. You need a map to find your one. Now I do you suppose you must approach the throne with its back up against the wall. I guess time just makes fools of us all. foolish minds of my generation, glad they conscripted in a war of defending any Goliath that would deign darken the door. Now with your genius for picking battles, it's no wonder every helmet is too small. I guess time just makes fools of us all. I guess time just makes fools of us all. My drink is watered down. The champ is on his knees. He lost the rematch. He lost the comeback. He lost for charity. But that's the job. It's what gets the asses in the hall. They came for a beating. And he came to brawl. Serve your client notice that of all the young gods I have known, yours is easily the least famous to turn down the cover of a Rolling Stone. Lily white faces, so familiar and yet impossible to recall. I guess time just makes fools of us all. After a millennia of good times, God said, hey now, let's have a dream where we raise the stakes a little. Come on, let's make things interesting. Parachute into the Anthropocene, an amnesiac, a himbo Kendall. I guess time does make fools of us all.
It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. 310-840-4910. You can text or call the show. 310-840-4910. I thought it was so stupid that the NBA got upset, that Prime got upset, that Shams broke the news about SGA winning MVP. Hey, don't let the news get out. This weekend up in Indianapolis with Banana Bowl, Indianapolis Clowns and the Party Animals. Internally, there were a few of us who knew, hey, Pat McAfee's going to the game and he's going to be in the broadcast booth. Okay, that's pretty awesome. So I spent a couple innings with McAfee over the weekend, and great guy to be around. Honestly, level-headed, even-keeled energy behind the scenes. Just a dude who there was no shtick. There was no shtick, and you learn that like when he's on the air, there's not really a shtick. Like, it's who the guy is. The guy is this ebb and flow of entertainer who took pictures with everybody. He was kind to everybody, and an easy hangout. But I bring that up because we wanted to surprise the players. We wanted to ensure that the dozens of people who needed to know organizationally wouldn't tell the players. So we did everything we could to ensure that it was a surprise, and ultimately we succeeded. In the NBA, you look, if only the right people know, they won't be leaked. It won't get out. And if it does, and it ruins a concept of the big announcement on Amazon Prime, if it ruins that concept, I don't care. I sit down for the Heisman Trophy and watch the ceremony and learn. Did Max Duggan win it? Did he pull off the upset? Is Caleb Williams, the guy who paints his fingers, he the Heisman Trophy winner? You don't do that with the NBA MVP, and you especially don't do it on Amazon Prime. That was frustrating yesterday that the NBA and Prime reacted the way they did. I think Shams did the right thing. Didn't ruin my experience as a fan, and it made it even more embarrassing when Prime did their little drum roll, please. Who's the MVP? SGA. We done been knowing that. It is time on the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app for our obituaries. Interesting, per se. The ballroom that the White House is working on constructing, because remember, 3 years ago when you kept waking up every day thinking, why don't we have a ballroom? I wish we had a ballroom. Now it's become hot button topic. Dead today, that ballroom being unrelated to God.
It's hard to believe that it would take 2 centuries for the Lord to raise up a great man to bring that ballroom finally to stand where it needs to stand. It's extraordinary. We only had to wait 200 years.
Big Gooner.
I just thought, wow. I watched Righteous Gemstones top to bottom. Thought it was an incredible show. Watched Righteous Gemstones on HBO Max, and I'm getting a lot of Righteous Gemstones here of the Lord our God, after 200 years in the wilderness, has delivered us this ballroom as promised. Can I get the gong, Curtis? Dead today, the ballroom being unrelated to God. Also deserving of an obituary.
Anyway.
Angel Reese's star status in the WNBA. She carries the name. She carries the heel. She stays in the spotlight in the WNBA, and I think that's a good thing. It's good for the sport overall. I like that Angel Reese draws the attention of the country because it further builds the WNBA. That said, her comments over the weekend, last night, were interesting. Here's what Angel Reese had to say, WNBA on NBC, pregame.
Angel, it's your first time playing in front of this home Atlanta crowd and a sellout at State Farm Arena. What are the emotions?
I'm really excited. I know the city's coming out for us, and just being able to come together and play together. And I think we set an identity early on. It's what Atlanta will expect from us, so I'm really excited.
There's a couple of headliners this afternoon, and you and A'ja Wilson. What's your mentality entering that individual matchup?
I mean, just playing my game and knowing what I do best, but also knowing her game a lot. I've watched her game a lot. She's obviously a great player. She's an MVP for a reason. But I know I'm also a good player, too, and I can guard her well.
To protect home court, what's it going to take?
A team effort. Next man up, obviously Ryan is out, but I think we have a lot of great players on our bench that can come in and do a great job. So just staying together. The game is going to be full of runs, but just controlling our emotions and valuing possessions is something we're going to manage.
I want to follow up quickly there. With Ryan out, how does that change the look of your team?
I mean, obviously Ryan's a great player. She's a big piece for us, but like I said, it's the next man out. We have a lot of great players. I mean, we go through practice sometimes when Ryan's not playing, or Alicia's out, or I'm out. So we're prepared for this moment, and I think we'll be ready.
Best of luck, Angel.
Thank you.
Turns out Angel Reese did not guard A'ja Wilson the whole game and still had 3 fouls early in her final stat line. Angel Reese, 1 for 8 shooting and 8 turnovers. The Atlanta Dream would lose at home despite holding the Las Vegas Aces to 10 points in the fourth quarter. Final score 85-84. Vegas wins in A-Town. Dead today, the relationship between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Over the weekend, a slew of former NFL, NBA, MLB stars spoke at collegiate convocations and commencements. And while giving an address at Georgetown, Tom Brady slipped a joke in about his old coach.
The one thing I've learned through sports is the only time you're sure to lose is when you quit. In life and work, you guys are going to get knocked down a lot. How are you going to navigate those moments? Are you going to push through the self-doubt? I want you to challenge yourself with ideas that are uncomfortable and people who push you to be your very best. Even if one of those people is a cranky old coach who cuts the sleeves off his sweatshirt and screams at you all day, do your job.
Pretty good. Tom Brady on Bill Belichick and their relationship seemed lighthearted, seemed to be in the correct spirit. But that was most of Tom's career. The guy in the cutoff hoodie. People questioning, is he a system coach? Is Bill Belichick only good because Tom Brady is good? Or is Tom Brady only good because Bill Belichick is good? And dead today, that relationship. I think it's the classic old ball coach, young stud.
Big gooner.
They may never be friends, but they'll always appreciate each other. Final obituary. Dead today, Edwin Diaz's public perception. From Underdog MLB, Edwin Diaz linked to illegal cockfighting per USA Today. Diaz quoted as saying, "The cockfighting arena is like my home." Jack Mack retweets with, "The cockfighting arena is like my home." Beautiful. What a sentence. Addie Bates, Edwin Diaz?
So if you remember, the Dodgers picked him up this offseason. He was with the Mets. They lost someone amazing. The Mets, that was a big loss for the Mets. Edwin Diaz is injured, and now he's getting all caught up in cockfighting, which happens to the best of us.
Touch yourself.
Other people caught up in this right now? Oh, the jockey from the Kentucky Derby, him and his brother.
No.
Yeah.
They were doing it too?
Yeah, there's videos.
We're jockeying it.
Yeah.
What's the difference in what Michael Vick did versus what Edwin Diaz is doing?
I don't know if there is, unless you want to. I mean, people are going to be more, I don't know, heartfelt towards dogs than roosters. Dog fighting versus cockfighting. Why don't we call it rooster fighting? Why do we call it cockfighting?
I think rooster fighting's a lot better.
We know why.
The people in the chat, the people in the YouTube chat were the ones who decided it should be called cockfighting.
I've seen something,
and not rooster fighting.
I saw something where like his rooster got like really injured and he put him back out there. He's like, no, you got to get like, you didn't hear no bell. Didn't hear a bell.
Wow. Torn ACL, last drive of the game.
Poor little rooster.
Sorry, Pete is going to be honest. Yeah, I mean, if Michael Vick, yeah, you just got to draw the line, dog versus chicken here. That's the true question. That's the true question, dog versus chicken. Which is worse in the court of public opinion? Edwin Diaz, his court of public opinion, dead today. Those are our obituaries. It's time for the Quickie Top 5 headlines in all of sports. Addie Bates reads them. Drake Toll does whatever he does. Touch yourself.
I went to 4 different websites today to get these, and what I did is I averaged them up. So whatever headline they were on each website, that's where I'm placing them.
Interesting, per se.
Right. So here's your first one. Number 1 headline between 4 sites. Aaron Rai runs away with the PGA Championship, first English-born winner in more than a century.
Over 100 years since an English-born man had done so. He eclipses the stars and pulls away 65 on Sunday, Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. He's the guy, he's a 2 gloves guy. That's his claim to fame. And now you will remember him in history as the first English-born golfer. That was an issue for Rory, not an English-born golfer, but fans chanting USA this weekend and him trying to get them kicked out of the tournament. But Rai was a menace to the sports books this weekend, was not necessarily expected to contend, and instead won the entire thing, shooting 65 on Sunday. So he gets invitations now to the Masters, the U.S. Open, the Open Championship for the next 5 years. And he earned $3.7 million in one day. For a guy who was known as the gloves guy 4 days ago, $3.7 million and an invite to the Masters for the next 5 years, pretty good stuff.
Pretty big story. Here's your second headline. SGA of the Thunder becomes the 14th player to win back-to-back NBA MVPs.
And here's the craziest part. He's not even the best player in the NBA. What? It's Victor Wembanyama. A guy who could drop 39 points, and NBA players are coming to the podium now saying there's no better defensive player on the planet than Victor Wembanyama. I think Wemby is due for the next few MVPs. He'll be up there in the conversation for the next few. SGA wins it, not necessarily on the back of the Thunder being as good as they were. I mean, he's shown in the postseason he's still number 2 in the National Basketball Association. And against the Spurs this week, we'll see those two square off. Their teams square off. Not a surprise that SGA won this, but I still think Victor Wembanyama is the future. SGA, he might be the right now, but give it a year. SGA backseat, Victor Wembanyama the future. That's a minute.
Here's your third headline. Pistons bounce, but year is not a disappointment.
Stupid. Nightmare. Again, you woke up today in New York City as a Pistons fan. You probably had a real bad day. You probably had a real crushing pee in your soup day. 1 seed, Cade Cunningham, certified star, and he scored 13 points. And the Pistons couldn't make free throws. Hell, the Cavs couldn't make free throws. There were ugly portions of this game. The Pistons' offense was bad throughout the postseason. It's why they had to go to 7 against the Magic, the 8-seed Magic. It's why they had to go to 7 against the Cavs and fell by 31 points. Just to say, and look, stuff in sports, you're going to get blown out. But then to say this wasn't a disappointment, as a fan, that's the last thing I want to hear. It's a minute.
The 64-win Thunder, the 62-win Spurs, and the possibility of an epic matchup in West Finals.
Tonight, this is the NBA Finals. The Knicks and the Cavs, the Spurs and the Thunder, those don't have the same ring. I do think Knicks-Cavs is a 6-game series. I do think the Knicks going to the NBA Finals is going to be a very fun thing to follow for the next few weeks. But the Spurs and the Thunder, that's the true NBA Finals. The top 2 players in the association, the top 2 teams in the association square off in the Western Conference Finals. So we're going to get a 6 or 7 game series out of San Antonio and Oklahoma City. And then after that, your NBA Finals will be the Knicks versus the defending champion Thunder, or the Knicks versus Victor Wembanyama. And both of those are pretty cool to me. I think the NBA is going to drive, the NBA viewership is going to drive up because of the Spurs Thunder and because one of these teams will meet the Knicks in the NBA Finals. This is all around good for basketball. It's not a dying sport that we have to fix. What's happening is all around good for basketball. That's a minute.
Here's your final headline. NFL sees Wednesday games as a good thing for fans.
Of course they would. I haven't heard anything out of the NFL this week that hasn't felt a little tone deaf as they were talking to fans about how, hey, you're overreacting to streaming services and platforms and how we push our games. And for the NFL to put as many games at four continents, 7 countries for their contests. Hey, let's add a 17th game to the regular season just so we can ensure that because even though there's another game, because of that game, fans can't see their team play. What? 17 games gives you one more opportunity to watch your favorite team in your home stadium every other year. Nope. We're going to take that game, we're going to put it at Wimbledon or wherever. That is bad. It's bad for the product. It's bad for Joe in Beaufort, Georgia. Already couldn't afford to go to the Falcons game. Oh, get this, Joe. That game's now in Dublin, Ireland. I don't like that. I don't. That's a minute.
Those are your headlines.
Bang. Coming up, SGA MVP. Did he deserve it? Here's why I think Wembanyama is the best player in the NBA, but SGA still did deserve that award, and the Spurs Thunder series begins tonight. What can you expect? Who's going to win, and in how many games? This is Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show.
Well, guess who's back?
Good morning. Welcome to the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can keep listening to this show because I get it. Your favorite morning show is about to come on, and you'll lose the Drake Toll Show. But if you want to continue to listen to the program, you're like, yeah, well, I'd like to hear more about the Spurs. I'd like to hear more about the Thunder. I'd like to, let's keep going into our Chris Mack or ESPN's Pete Souza joining the show later on. Yeah, you can stick around. Westwood One Sports. The app, the Westwood One Sport, you can watch the show. You can see what Addie looks like, Curtis looks like. We're real people.
Big Gooner.
On the
Tune in
YouTube
to see
channel.
what Addie looks like. No, please no.
Well, there are already too many who are already tuning in for just that reason.
And they let us know. They do let us know.
And they are vocal about such. You could leave it at them. Happy Monday to you. It's the first day of the week. Before I jump into the Spurs Thunder, I want to give you a theory. You bring this to the water cooler today. I don't think Monday's the worst day of the week. I think Tuesday is the worst day. Monday's built to suck. I think Monday is better than both Tuesday and Wednesday. There's a newness to it. You know the objective at hand. Monday starts, and you got to go get ish done for the next 5 days. But there's a newness. You get to go back to the office. I get it. But there's something fresh about a Monday. It's the Tuesday. It's just like this never-ending thing. The Drake Toll Show. I've got bad news for you. I've got bad news for you if you're the NBA and Amazon Prime. The world was informed by Shams yesterday that the MVP would be given to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Fourth straight season he's finished top 5 in MVP voting. Second consecutive season he's won the MVP. That news was leaked and the NBA got all upset. We wanted to announce that. Would have been a stupid announcement anyway. And while SGA is an elite player, I think this is it. I think the buck stops here for MVPs. I understand why he won it this year. 31 points per game. But Victor Wembanyama has emerged as the best player in the NBA and the most valuable player in the NBA. A guy who can score 39 points in a postseason game, but could also pull down 12. He could pull down 17 boards, 12 blocks any given game. That's Victor Wembanyama. And we talk game changer, most valuable player who has the most value on the court at any point in time. It's a guy who averaged 11.5 rebounds this season, 3.1 blocks to go with 25 points for the young Victor Wembanyama. Now, I know 25 points is not the same as 31.1, and I'm not mad. I understand why Shai Gilgeous-Alexander won the MVP. 6.5 assists versus Victor Wembanyama's 3 assists. Comparable turnovers, but not comparable blocks, not comparable rebounds, efficiencies. Hell, Victor Wembanyama obviously doesn't have the same free throw percentage as a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You'd expect a guard to be hovering around 90%, but Wemby's still at 83%. His numbers as a player who is growing up in the NBA are clear. He's a legitimate NBA MVP candidate and will be for years to come, and his two-way generational dominance is what's going to give him multiple MVPs. He was the unanimous Defensive Player of the Year. That doesn't happen. Wemby didn't just lead the league in blocks. He single-handedly changes how opposing teams play offense. Avoid that guy. And SGA is an elite perimeter defender, but he doesn't change the way that opposing teams position all 5 of their offensive players. Wemby does. An elite scoring guard, SGA, can be minimized. A 7'4" interior anchor with elite postseason defense cannot. Wemby, he impacts the game at a tier 1 level. And by the time we get to the end of his career, we might end up saying, hey, Victor Wembanyama affected the game, impacted the game more than any player in NBA history. Which is, as the league has gotten more and more athletic, that's gotten tougher and tougher to do. Wemby has made it look easy. Now, yes, SGA, one of, if not, he may go down as the greatest mid-range shooter of all time. He creates angles. Wemby removes angles. 7'4", 8-foot wingspan. He can give up he can give up some steps. And defensively, he's so dominant, such an impact. I think it puts him over what SGA is able to do on the floor. You're going to see that specifically. I think you're going to see it this series as the two square off, and you're going to see it next season when Wembanyama, who has this efficient, incredible defense and offense, wins the MVP. Now, SGA, historically efficient. First perimeter player to average 30 points on 55% shooting. But his shots are contestable by a guy like Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama's shot release is physically unguardable. When he elevates from mid-range, a turnaround fadeaway, a three, that ball's leaving his hand at an apex. No defender, listen to this, that ball is released at an apex no defender in human history could reach. As his frame is filling out, his efficiency is improving, his offense becoming completely decoupled from what a defense attempts to do to him, Wemby is the best player in the NBA. 51.2% shooting this season. The guy can stretch it, and now you'll see it. These two going toe-to-toe in the Western Conference Finals. That begins tonight. So who wins? Who wins this series, and how does it play out? SGA was the MVP. Had the Spurs overtaken the Thunder in the regular season for the 1 seed in the West, it looks a little bit different. I think at that point, Wemby gets the nod. We were all waiting to see if the Thunder would fall apart, if Victor Wembanyama could lead the Spurs to the coveted 1 seed in the West. He couldn't. The Thunder stayed steady. At SGA won MVP. I'm not mad about that. I still think Wemby's the best player in the NBA. SGA deserved MVP. And now as the two teams meet, 64-win Thunder, 62-win Spurs, 126 regular season wins combined. And OKC enters the series 8-0 in the postseason. The Spurs, though, have everything it takes to dethrone Oklahoma City. And I won't bury the lead. I won't give you the payoff later. I'll give it to you right now. The Spurs are going to win this series. The same San Antonio Spurs that dominated the Thunder in the regular season. Let's go back to the first time these two teams met. December 23rd. When they did, Victor Wembanyama wasn't at the top of his game. In that game, he had 12 points. Heck, that was the first. They played in the NBA Cup, right? A little before that. That was OKC in San Antonio. He had 22 in that one. Not bad. But the first true meeting, Wembanyama 12 points, 19 the next night. And Oklahoma City dropped both those games. San Antonio won at home 130-110. On the road, 117-102. Uh-oh. The Thunder this season have not lost at a more consistent clip to anyone in the National Basketball Association than the San Antonio Spurs. And that's the matchup we have here. 4 wins, 1 loss for San Antonio in the regular season. You can't throw out that data, including the victory in the NBA Cup. They didn't just beat Oklahoma City this year. The Spurs have a schematic answer to decode the Thunder's top-rated defense. Elite offense. The head-to-head success does something else. Does something different, too. It gives a young Spurs core the opportunity to look around the locker room and go, we've done this a million times. The Lakers couldn't beat the Thunder this year. Austin Reeves couldn't look at LeBron James and say, hey, we know how to do this. We have it figured out. Hey, JJ Redick, we've done this before. Let's push it and go win the same way we've won this season against OKC. The Lakers couldn't do that. And the Lakers got swept. The Spurs, despite being young and not having a lot of playoff experience, they look around the locker room and say, oh, we figured this out. We did this consistently in the regular season. Now, Oklahoma City's offense, juggernaut, elite. That's the word I used, was elite. But San Antonio is playing defense at a historic level. Through the first two rounds, San Antonio boasts a 99.7 defensive rating. Did you hear that? A 99.7 defensive rating. That series against Portland, San Antonio made quick enough work of the Trailblazers, even with Wembanyama missing time due to a concussion. The series against the T-Wolves, yes, the Timberwolves, had a sneaky Game 1 win in San Antonio to start that series, right? Series doesn't begin until the visiting team wins. Then Wemby gets ejected in the only other loss for San Antonio. And it felt like after that Game 1 defeat at the hands of Minnesota, San Antonio tightened things up. Wembanyama dominant on defense in Game 2. Go on the road, score 39 points. Get ejected just to be great in the final two games of a series the Spurs ended up winning in blowout fashion in 6. And I don't hate that the Spurs have played a game more recently than the Thunder. I like that the Spurs are still in the heat of competition, and Oklahoma City's been sitting at home for 6 days. I like that for the team that has the 99.7 defensive rating. Don't get me out of my rhythm. When the game slows down in this series to a half-court chess match, San Antonio's length, defensive discipline, that's going to stall the drive and kick Thunder. And there's the alien. There's the Wemby guy. This postseason, he's changed the geography of basketball arenas, averaging 7.7 blocks per game in the postseason. That's my MVP. Did you hear that? Victor Wembanyama on a different planet. OKC. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander coming down, driving into the paint with a 7'4" guy steps away. 3 steps away. He's just reaching out to contend. And that matchup, Wemby and Chet Holmgren, it favored the Frenchman pretty aggressively in the regular season. Stephon Castle, the sophomore. He let the league know this year and was the scoring catalyst in Game 6 against Minnesota. 32 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Over his last 5 road games, 22.8 points. And De'Aaron Fox is standing right next to him. He's averaging 22 points on the road lately. And now to beat Oklahoma City, you absolutely have to hit the outside shots. And the Spurs, that's what they're doing right now at a level they didn't necessarily do consistently in the regular season. Against the Thunder, they've shot the 3-ball well. And they enter the series as the highest scoring road offense in the NBA over their last 25 games. Oklahoma City can be punished by Champagny or Harper on these on-ball blitzes. And you'll see it for a Spurs team, 99.7. That's their defensive rating in the playoffs. Oklahoma City, 106.7. You want that number to be low. The Spurs take it in 6. Their ability to win on the road, their ability to flash on the road. Guys like Victor Wembanyama who can score and play at an elite level on the road. That is what pushes San Antonio over the edge to knock off the MVP SGA and go to the NBA Finals against the New York Knickerbockers. Sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. When we come back, history this weekend. The story of a Negro Leagues baseball team that disbanded in 1989. Those players, those legends like Hank Aaron that helped build a brand, watch that brand disappear. This weekend, it came back, and it's here for good. This is Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show.
Well,
Make up your mind. Decide to walk with me around the lake tonight. Around the lake tonight. By my side. Behind
Make up your mind. Decide to walk with me around.
Good morning. It is the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports. The Westwood One Sports app on the very day the San Antonio Spurs and Oklahoma City Thunder will tip off that series in the Western Conference Finals. On the very day where Aaron Rai is coming off of a win at the PGA Championship that shocked a lot of people, including the sports books. They really didn't like that one. Booked himself 5 more years of invites to the top tournaments in the world of golf. The Aaron Rodgers saga. Chris Mack will join momentarily on the Drake Toll Show to help us break it down. He's coming back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is this just a waste of everyone's time? Are we delaying competition, contention for Pittsburgh? No matter what, I can tell you this. Pollen season is here, but a dirty car doesn't have to be. Wash it away at Tidal Wave Auto Spa. For a quick wash, that clean car happy feeling, find a location at TidalWaveAutoSpa.com. This weekend, you may have seen it on SportsCenter. And, man, it got me. Last week I told you I was in Indianapolis as the Indianapolis Clowns met the Party Animals in the Banana Ball Championship League. And there are the dissenters to the Bananas, of course. This weekend, it wasn't about that. It wasn't about final scores. It wasn't about the game itself. It was about a storyline, something that's never happened in sports that I got a front row seat for. The return of the Indianapolis Clowns. Founded in 1929 as a Negro Leagues baseball team. Here's what stood out to me about the weekend. You have a team that was founded in 1929 when some of the best players in the world, black players, were told, hey, you can't play here. You can't play at the top level. So they created their own top level. For years, the Clowns would barnstorm before joining the Negro American League. And then when that league collapsed, barnstorm again until 1989. The last brand of the Negro Leagues that stayed alive. But they vanished. 37 years they vanished. And I think about the Clowns players, those who were in the Negro Leagues, that woke up in 1994 and thought, man, I remember 20 years ago I played with the Clowns. It was the best experience of my life. I'll never see that jersey again. I'll never see that team in action. It's as if the New York Mets folded, the Dallas Cowboys folded. 20 years later, you think, man, I remember those memories were incredible. But I'll never see the Houston Oilers again. For those Clowns, for those former players and coaches, this weekend I saw it with my own eyes. Victory Field, Indianapolis, Indiana. That brand came back to life. Via Banana Ball, which was founded by Jesse Cole and the Savannah Bananas. This brand, I saw it was on SportsCenter this morning. Just watched the feature again. This brand has returned. With names like Jackie Bradley Jr., Ryan Howard, Monet Davis. And for me, I got to see those stories. I got to see the players, the original Indianapolis Clowns players like Satchel Paige and Hank Aaron and Mamie Johnson, Tony Stone, some of the first women to play professional baseball. I got to see those names, those human beings come to life in a jersey worn by Ryan Howard, in a glove worn by Monet Davis, in the cleats worn by Jackie Bradley Jr. I got to see a Negro Leagues team play ball this weekend. It was a distinct honor to be in the booth. And here is the first sound, for the first time in 37 years, of an Indianapolis Clowns home broadcast. And we are live from Indianapolis, Indiana, a city that spent 37 years mourning the loss of a brand atop the Negro Leagues, a team founded on the basis of reversing a travesty, breaking down doors that read whites only or segregated space. For 37 years, the city you look upon lost that brand, turning heroes into history. But today, in the same confines they once graced, the Indianapolis Clowns are back, and they're home for good. The Clowns are assisted by Ryan Howard, Major League Baseball's Ryan Howard. And seeing his emotion over the weekend made this moment this sports moment even more special for all of us. Clowns correspondent Cameron Stewart caught up with the Philadelphia Phillies legend.
Ryan, it's taken a long time to get this night together back in Indianapolis with the Clowns. You've worn a lot of jerseys. What does it mean to wear this one on this night?
This is something extremely special. The history behind it, everything that's gone with this franchise, with this organization, and to be able to be here on this night in Indianapolis, look around. This is so special to be able to represent the Clowns and everything they stand for and be able to bring it back here to Indy. Amazing.
And it was the homage that players like Ryan Howard gave to those Clowns in past. Those who had built the brand up in the Negro Leagues. Those who had been told no for decades. Those like Nub Anderson. He had one arm and played for the Indianapolis Clowns. Wearing the glove on his right arm, he'd catch the ball, pull it off with his chin, pop the ball up, and then throw it. Nub Anderson would be at the games this weekend, surprising his old roommate, Bill Heward, who was the coach of the Clowns. Bill is now an assistant of the new-look Indianapolis Clowns. Nub surprised him, and Bill would go on to say, I always liked rooming with Nub. A lot of times we had to share beds in the Negro Leagues. And when we did, I liked Nub as a roommate because it meant that I had just a little bit extra space. The one-armed wonder, Nub Anderson, on the field.
Nub, to be here, to travel here on this night, your team is back. How does that feel?
Great. Matter of fact, the team is back better than ever because we couldn't touch it.
Nub Anderson, a pleasure to be around. And even Monet Davis, a name who became baseball 12 years ago. An athlete who's on the cover of Sports Illustrated as the first woman, the first female to record a win pitching a game in the Little League World Series. She pitched this weekend with Pat McAfee in the booth. Pat and I got to catch up for a couple of innings. And in the middle of that, Monet Davis walks out to the mound for the Clowns. And she was emotional because Mamie Johnson, the female pitcher for the Indianapolis Clowns, who's now passed on, has been a mentor throughout her career. Monet on if she was emotional and that impact of Mamie on her life in baseball.
All the time. Even when I first got, introduced to wanting to be on the Clowns, they were just like, it was kind of a moment where I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy because I got to meet her, back then, and now I get to kind of represent her again and all the other women that played as well.
And the question arises with Ryan Howard or Nub Anderson, Monet Davis, how do you bring a Negro Leagues team back? How do you do it the right way? Who do you even talk to for a brand like this? For those heroes that turned into history, to resurrect and revive them. Kansas City, the Negro Leagues Museum. Jesse Cole, founder of the Savannah Bananas and this Banana Ball, met with Bob Kendrick, the president of that museum, another incredible historian. Someone who you get emotional shaking their hand, who was there this weekend. Bob Kendrick said he's been waiting for this game, waiting for the Clowns to return to Indianapolis, waiting for the Clowns to have their stories told, to have their show on full display. First time in 37 years, Bob was at the game.
Well, it's emotional, as you can well imagine, because as a steward of the story, this is what you live for. And for all of us involved in a project like the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, it becomes how do you make history relevant? And this is exactly what the rebirth of the Clowns is doing. It's making history relevant.
It would be emotional, impactful if the Seattle Supersonics or Houston Oilers, if those brands were revived. But the idea that this wasn't just an MLB team or an NBA team, a Negro Leagues team, a team built of people who were told no, built of humans who were seen as lesser because of the color of their skin, who could not play baseball with white players because the white players would not allow it. A team built on correcting a travesty and pushing the envelope to the nth degree. An envelope that never belonged. That team returned this weekend. And Thursday on, we landed in Indianapolis on Wednesday, and Thursday on was just, I don't know if I was emaciated. I don't know what it may just be the mystique of the whole thing. Waterworks. Ed crying the whole weekend. Pat McAfee, he echoed the same. The emotion of a brand like that returning when it was so impossible it wasn't thought of 6 months ago. Seeing those players alive again. In those faces, in those gloves, in those athletes was different. And brought a whole lot of emotion. The Indianapolis Clowns are back in the Banana Ball Championship League and representing those who established that equality in sports is necessary. When we come back, Chris Mack returns to the Drake Toll Show. Aaron Rodgers, we know where he is now, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But is that a good thing? Did the Steelers sell out for a quarterback who can't get them there? I think so. It's Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Addie Bates produces. Curtis Poindexter runs the board. Chris Mack on the other side. This is the Drake Toll Show.
This is Westwood One Sports.
Good morning. It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Addie Bates produces. Curtis Poindexter runs the board. And there's so much new to the world. Cavs, Knicks, the Spurs, Thunder in the NHL. We're 10 days away from the Avalanche and the Hurricanes and the Stanley Cup Finals. It's hockey. Stranger things have happened. That's quite likely. And story number one out of the NFL today. Return of the Aaron Rodgers. But I need to let you know that this is no normal segue into this. It is time for our Idiot of the Day.
Idiot of the Day.
I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers, perchance. Joining the show, Chris Mack makes his return to the Drake Toll Show. And Mac, the last time we talked to you last week, things were a little bit different. We didn't know where Aaron Rodgers was. Today we do. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Is this a good thing for the Steelers after Rodgers and his camp strung Pittsburgh along for months?
Well, first and foremost, I'm glad that I didn't win Idiot of the Day. I was really worried there for a second, Drake.
You are tomorrow. That's fine. It's an admirable award to win.
It gives me 24 hours to campaign. I appreciate it. So I'll say this. He did, for what it's worth, come in 2 weeks earlier than he did last year. So, look, as much as we've talked about how this thing has dragged out when the Steelers did not expect it to drag out the way it did, he's ultimately going to be there for the first OTA session. I don't know how much will be involved today because he just literally got into the facility like an hour and a half ago and is, filling out the paperwork and doing all the first day back at work things that I guess you probably do when you haven't been around for 3 or 4 months, the physical that he probably has to undergo for a new contract and all that. So I don't know how much he'll be involved, but today's very much, I would think, with all the veterans coming in for the first time for OTAs, sort of a get to know us kind of session with new head coach Mike McCarthy and his staff. They have 9 installation sessions over the next few weeks, including their mandatory minicamp the first week of June, during which Mike McCarthy has said he will be installing this offense. I think the fact that Rodgers is going to be in the building for it is a good thing for the Steelers. I don't know how many reps he necessarily needs to take during these individual drills and what few team drills they do during OTAs over the next couple of weeks. And I would argue that I'd rather those reps go to the young guys that they have there anyway, Will Howard and Drew Aller anyway, to help get them as many reps as possible. Rodgers knows McCarthy, knows the basic tenets of his offense, and obviously they've worked pretty well together for about a decade. So I'll be curious to see how much Rodgers is involved in those OTA sessions, those next 2 weeks of OTAs. They have 3 this week starting today. They'll have 3 next week, technically 4 because one of them is a trip to the fantastic Kennywood Amusement Park, and then 3 days, I believe, during mandatory minicamp. So they have Rodgers here when you need all of your veterans in place. Is that a good thing? I mean, the Steelers needed Rodgers to come back. They clearly had very little interest in any other quarterbacks out there. And Rodgers needed the Steelers because I don't know where else he was going to go. So the marriage of convenience will continue for 1 more year. And we'll see if the improvements in the receiving core, signing or trading for Michael Pittman and drafting Jeremy Bernard, and on the offensive line, 2 draft picks on the first 2 days spent there, both Jennings Dunker, who presumably will be their left guard out of Iowa, massive stud with the red mullet that is glorious, and Max Ahanachor, who is going to get a chance to battle for the starting right tackle spot out of Arizona State, who they took in the first round once Mekhi Lemon was lifted from underneath them by the Eagles. They've worked on their receiving core and their offensive line, which should be the kind of things that help improve an offense plus a new OC, a head coach who is offensively minded, and hopefully get back to that 10-win mark, if not better. Is that all pie in the sky? And if everything goes well, sure. But without Rodgers as the last veteran quarterback option available, hey, we're not talking 10 wins. We're talking a Will Howard, Drew Aller battle and scuffling your way to 5 or 6 wins probably.
Chris Mack joining the Drake Toll Show, Y108 Pittsburgh, Westwood One Sports. Mack, it's so middle school to me. I think back of the line of, well, yeah, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. She's just not talking to me right now. This silent treatment. And there's never a world where the middle school boyfriend and girlfriend start talking again and it's just okay and normal and there's no drama around it. Aaron Rodgers, you just replace it with, yeah, we're a franchise and quarterback. He's just not talking to us right now. And it is, you've got to embrace your starting quarterback as a leader in your locker room and a leader for your city as a professional team. How do you do that with an Aaron Rodgers who has strung along or ghosted this franchise and city for months?
Well, I think the important part, Drake, is that he did remain in contact with Mike McCarthy, with some of his teammates. His agent was in contact with Omar Khan, the general manager of the Steelers. And so he didn't go off on an ayahuasca retreat and, disappear for 3 months and fall off the grid. They were in touch with one another. And again, I'll go back to the existing McCarthy-Rodgers relationship. Say what you will about how it may have ended on a bit of a rocky note in Green Bay. They were in very close contact throughout this whole thing. So, and again, I think the locker room part is an important piece to this. You don't have a 42 going on 43-year-old quarterback if you don't believe he can bring some leadership qualities to the table. Last year, he did. There was a point in time where their receiving core was in trouble. This is before the DK Metcalf suspension late. This is more like November. And, he was Aaron Rodgers, not necessarily happy with the work that was being put in by some of the members of the receiving corps. He didn't call them out by name necessarily, but he did say, hey, we've got to do more to make sure we're prepared on a week-to-week basis. He hosts these sessions with the receivers where they like to go over things. He'll have them over to his house and they'll, break down film or talk about this or talk about that. And some of the receivers weren't totally on board with that. And Rodgers called it out in the media, which, part of the reason, like I said, you have a 40-something-year-old, 20-year veteran quarterback is to show that leadership quality. And after he did, it did spike some production in those secondary receivers, your Calvin Austins, Roman Wilsons of the world. Now, you go out and get some legitimate secondary options at receiver behind Metcalf now in Pittman and Bernard. Yeah. And it's a much different receiving core. Rodgers has the respect of guys in that room. He handles himself well in the facility. So I don't think that's an issue at all. He's got good relationships built up through most of the facility. And so I don't see that really being an issue either. I think the issue, we all come back around to why hasn't he signed? Why hasn't he signed? Why hasn't he signed?
Yeah.
And I hate to be so blasé about it, but it's Aaron Rodgers' timeline, and the Steelers knew what they were getting into when they decided to let Aaron dictate the timeline. So he's here now for OTAs and will be a part of them in mandatory minicamp in a couple of weeks, and I think they're satisfied with that.
Yeah, that was my next question, and you looped it back around for the thesis there of, hey, the relationships are great. This is not nearly as red button behind the scenes as far as Rodgers goes, personality-wise, toward his teammates and coaches. It is just there's no real way. It's Aaron Rodgers' brain. Yeah, how that's the reason this is drug out so long. I mean, he's married to Manti Te'o's ex-girlfriend, apparently. There are so many things we're trying to figure out about the life of Aaron Rodgers and that we will never figure out. I guess it lends itself to, and that oddity for me goes into the fact that I saw the tweet of Rodgers and Malik Willis. This is the money, this up to $25 million that Malik Willis is getting from the Dolphins. Is that 25 too much for even 22 guaranteed too much for Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, if it ends up being the 25, I think it includes a trip to the Super Bowl. That's one of the incentives that gets him to 25, so that'll be worth it. But 22, I think probably the simple financial calculus when they sat down to hammer out the fine details of what his number would look like probably went something like, hey guys, Kirk Cousins got $20 million to go nurture Fernando Mendoza out in Vegas, right? And they probably said, yeah. And he probably said,
Yep.
I mean, I'm still better than Kirk Cousins. And they said, okay, here's 22. And he probably said, okay, sounds good to me. I think in this day and age, especially if you look at just salaries for this individual season, that puts him right around 18th in the league. Right there in that sort of Malik Willis, Justin Fields zone. And I think in their mind, they look at it as, hey, we have a guy who's won a Super Bowl before, multiple MVPs. Is he at that peak level anymore? No, but we're getting him at a cost that is similar to a Malik Willis, who is still an unproven commodity, a Justin Fields, who's a proven commodity as a backup, and we're okay with that. We're paying we're not paying Aaron Rodgers $30 million, $35, $40 million a year like he's a high level or top 10 NFL starting quarterback. We're paying him 22. And it won't require a lot of cap gymnastics for them to make that work with what they have going on. So I think they're totally comfortable with that. And I think it helps Rodgers save face too. If he comes in for that $15 million tender that they tagged him to a few weeks ago, it's probably looks a little bit different, but I think they're totally fine with that 22 number. And like I said, if they get to the 25, that's because they've gone on some sort of playoff run, and they'd be more than happy with that.
So we'll end it right there. Chris Mack joining the Drake Toll Show. The playoff run, the Super Bowl, the $25 million, all of it. Outside looking in, it feels like Pittsburgh Steelers fans are tired of winning without a payoff. The 8, 9, 10 win seasons without a payoff at the end of the year. It's been a decade. Is the roster, is an Aaron Rodgers return? Can Pittsburgh Steelers fans expect to finally get that postseason payoff in 2026-27?
Well, I think it all depends on how things fall again, right? I mean, you have Aaron Rodgers back, and like I mentioned, the upgrades at receiver and hopefully on the offensive line. A couple of reinforcements on the defensive side of the ball, like Jamel Dean, and that side of the ball isn't getting any younger, but they've done their best to try and reinforce the D-line as well. If they win 10 games, that could win the AFC North again. I mean, it's going to be a war of attrition in the AFC North, especially if Burrow stays healthy, the Bengals' defense improves. You don't know what you're going to get out of Jesse Minter's first year in Baltimore. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if 10 wins gets you the AFC North again, with those three teams beating up on one another in divisional play in particular. And if you are able to draw an opponent at the right time in January, maybe a home game, maybe it's not the Texans defense that makes you look terrible as they did back in January, maybe. But winning a playoff game, to your point, Drake, is not simply, and it would be a little bit of a, I've been holding my breath for 10 years, I can exhale a bit, but it wouldn't be enough for Steeler fans. Steeler fans, as you know, are very spoiled. And I mean that in a good way. I don't mean that as a knock.
Yeah.
The standard is the standard, as they say around here. The standard is competing for championships, and they want to see the team get back to that. So there is still an undercurrent of, great, Rodgers is back, but what's that really get us? Another 10-win season and a wild card exit. And if that's the case, then it will have just served to kick the can down the road. And there is something to keep an eye on, and that is how they handle the 4 quarterback situation they have now. Because if they believe themselves a true competitor, then you need to have a veteran quarterback should Rodgers not be available for a week or two, and he's 42 years old. That could very easily happen. We saw it last year for a game. And you don't want to have to hand the keys to one of 2 young quarterbacks who's never taken an NFL snap before, in Will Howard or Drew Aller. So they're going to be in a tough spot come the end of training camp and trying to juggle these 4 quarterbacks and figure out, do we really want to keep Howard and Aller? And if so, how do we keep them both? Good luck sneaking like Will Howard onto a practice squad without somebody else snagging him off of waivers. Yeah. Mike McCarthy drafted Drew Aller, so you have to believe he's not going anywhere. Maybe Rudolph is the odd man out, but then again, you don't have that veteran backup quarterback to step in for a week or two if Rodgers misses time. That's the one thing I'll keep an eye on, and I think a lot of Steelers fans are watching throughout OTAs, minicamp, and then into training camp in July and August is, how do these young quarterbacks fit into the mix? Because Steelers fans are just as focused on who's the next guy, even though Rodgers is back. Who's the next guy? Because we haven't had a franchise quarterback in half a decade.
Josh McCown is ready. He's sitting by the phone. Him and Phillip Rivers both, just to see what's that. That's so good. Chris Mack, thanks for your time early this morning. How can folks best support you? I don't think the Rodgers tenure is not done. I don't think the saga is necessarily done. How can folks support you as you continue to cover the Pittsburgh Steelers?
The Rodgers saga is never over, Drake. You know that. Check out Cabali and Mac wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Mark Cabali, who's been covering the team for 20, 25 years. He and I do a Steelers podcast several times a week. And, of course, right here on Westwood One Sports. And check out Y108 in your Odyssey app as well.
Thanks again, Mac. Good to have you.
Thanks, man.
You can find him at the Chris Mack on social media as well. Aaron Rodgers, the Pittsburgh Steeler. Okay, old man Rodgers. I don't think he's a Super Bowl. I don't think he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I don't think you're going to get the John Elway out of him. But maybe. Hey, Manning did that too. Did he? Old man Manning, old man Elway. Can old man Rodgers join the list? Again, I don't think so. But Steelers fans at least have hope, and they've only recently had the hope of winning 8 or 9 games. Maybe this time they can finally win a postseason contest. Coming up, Pete Souza joins the Drake Toll Show. The NBA tonight, the San Antonio Spurs and Oklahoma City Thunder. Oh, and by the way, who's the number 1 overall draft pick? A.J. DeBonsa or Darren Peterson? Why does it matter so early? This is the Drake Toll Show.
The 2 best teams.
Pete Souza, ESPN, NBC Sports, the Pete Souza Show, Westwood One Sports on the Drake Toll Show. Pete, first, good morning.
Drake, I mean, I always worry about your sleep because I see all this work you're doing, and I want to make sure. I mean, you say good morning. It's always a great morning with you, but I want to make sure you're getting good nights of sleep here, brother, because you don't stop.
Nights and mornings, no, they run together most of the time, and sometimes the morning is the night, which is. I stayed up through the night working a couple nights ago, and a buddy of mine's like, yeah, it's yesterday. I was like, what do you mean yesterday? It's still that happened 8 hours ago, but it's today. And then look, I digress from that, Pete. You ever heard of Ray LaMontagne, the singer?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does Jolene. He does. He's got a few hits in there. My call when I was in college.
He's got a great voice. Great voice.
So I saved up $70 in college to go. I wanted to see Ray LaMontagne, and I go to this concert. Sierra Farrell, pretty lady, great performer. She plays acoustic guitar. She's got a septum piercing. I was like, oh, this is great, incredible openers. Heard a guitar. Yeah, like half the venue was in there at that point, and she rocked. Ray LaMontagne gets up there, and Pete, I'm not sure if he said 7 coherent English words, and it's something about a ship by the sea in Maine. It's the only concert to this day I've ever been forced to leave early because the actual act was so bad. And in that event, the opener stole the show. There was nothing better than Sierra Farrell opening and nothing worse than Ray LaMontagne, the final performance, the headliner. Pete Souza, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Oklahoma City Thunder meet in what I consider to be the NBA Finals. This, the opener, is the true NBA Finals. Am I on base?
I think you're exactly on base. I believe that, especially after what we saw last night, Cavs, they kind of muscled their way to a win over the Pistons in Game 7. First Game 7, the Pistons in Boston forever. But on the interior, right, you saw like Evan Mobley go to work. Of course, Davion Mitchell had a really good game. But tonight, you're going to see like a real sexy appeal. It's going to be an up and down matchup, and every time this year, now we're gonna end up doing this now. This time of year, every year, where we're going to see Oklahoma City remind us why they won 64 games, and I think they were the third most missed games by any team in the NBA because of injuries, but they still dominate. And we finally get to see Wemby on this huge stage, right, with an opportunity to punch a ticket to the finals. I don't think the Spurs will beat them, but to what you're saying, I think this is probably almost a preliminary, right? I think that it is the NBA Finals playing out in front of us.
Pete Souza, NBC Sports, ESPN, the Pete Souza Show, Westwood One Sports, joining the Drake Toll Show. Pete, you mentioned Oklahoma City being the victor of this series in your book. I gave reasons. Well, I think the Spurs could take it in 6 or 7 games. And of course, there are going to be reasons why a team this good as San Antonio could beat Oklahoma City. Their 4 wins and 1 loss in the regular season against OKC are the lead-in, the thesis of that. But Pete, OKC was banged up, and there's an excuse here, there's an excuse there. How much do you factor in the regular season entering a series like this between OKC and San Antonio?
Well, I mean, I factor it in a huge deal when you think about guys not being healthy. And that's the one thing about OKC. People, they're kind of a mystery to us anyways. I mean, not you and I, because we're kind of sickos, but to a lot of folks around the country, again, it's like a re-entry point. In May and June to this team. And when you look at those games, how many games guys missed this year, it was really surprising for me at the end of the year to look at that and say, wow, this is a team that still almost won 65 games. And I don't know that the Spurs are going to get guys to step up, right? The second and third guy, like will Harper step up? Will they be able to meet the moment? I think this is I don't know. I like you. I would love to see San Antonio win, but just because it would be great to see Wemby in the finals against the Knicks, I think the NBA would love it. I know that I would love it, but I don't think that anybody can beat Oklahoma City, and I think we struggle taking them seriously every single year. It's almost like the other night I watched that I guess MMA fight, right? MVP, and I thought I was so excited, right? I bought the hype. I was like, Gina Carano, she's got a shot here. And then I remember I was like, wait a minute. There's no way she's going to beat Ronda Rousey. It just doesn't make any sense. As much as I want her to win, in 17 seconds, she's annihilated. And I feel like it won't be too long, game 4 or 5, before Oklahoma City puts San Antonio in the armbar. And I think we'll be reminded of just how good Oklahoma City is again this summer. And I think it starts tonight. I really do. And I want to see San Antonio win, but I think there's no way. I think Oklahoma City is that good. I think we could be looking at a dynasty here. And it's the fact that they're in Oklahoma City that we overlook them as every chance we get. And why wouldn't we want to? It's more exciting to think about Wemby playing in the finals. It's more exciting to think about the Knicks winning their first title since the early 70s.
Pete, speaking of those Knicks, they'll play the Cavaliers now, and taking it back to last night before we preview that series for a blurb. Rhetoric out of Bickerstaff and company with the Pistons is that they're not disappointed. The 8 seed brought you to the brink. You won it in 7, and then now the Cleveland Cavaliers upset you by 31 points in your home arena. Coaches say things, and they don't mean it for them to be the headline, but that's a pretty damn bad thing to say.
All right, well, Drake, you came to the wrong place for this. JB Bickerstaff's my man. I used to live with JB back in Charlotte when he was an assistant for the Bobcats. Yes, and then I lived at his house when he moved away and he started coaching for Houston. I love JB.
Well, give me the translation then. Translate for JB here. Yep.
Okay, I will translate. What he said, we're not disappointed. What he said, this team gave us everything. They allow us to coach them, like other teams just don't allow in the NBA. The truth of the matter is, look, this team sucked when JB got the job. They sucked on fire. And they were predicted to finish towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference. They're the number 1 seed. They obviously got spent, right, in that first series against Orlando, which is on him. I mean, it's on him and the staff. I mean, you can't give, free passes here. But when you look at the totality of the situation, this is an organization that is doing way better than they expected with him at the helm. Now, we don't want to hear, you don't want to hear that. Detroit Pistons fans don't want to hear that. You're the number 1 seed. You're in a Game 7 at home, where you've won your last 5 Game 7s. They got outplayed, flat out. When a Pistons team is out-rebounded 50-41 in a Game 7, and you saw JB in the huddle, deep in the huddle last night, saying, you guys got to find your competitive fire. I don't want to say that the Pistons choked, but they got in a hole, and they started doing stuff that they're not good at doing, right? Like way too many threes. Again, they shot 31% from 3, but the Cavs only shot 32%. And of course James Harden sucked, which was on brand, and you still couldn't find a way to win. So yeah, ultimately it's on JB and his staff to find a way to win those games. And in the NBA, you won't get too much more time to find it. I don't care, what you turned around this year. But I think when JB says that, that's a coach, not necessarily politicking, but just being like, yo, guys, we were terrible, if you don't remember when I got this job. And every year we've gotten better. So let's just kind of come off a little bit of is this a great disappointment? And he really deserves a ton of credit as a coach. I know you don't want to talk about JB Bickerstaff and his coaching acumen all day here. We got to keep the ratings up. But I promise you, and by the way, we just hit another quarter hour, so Armin Williams doesn't play with that. So we might want to get to the Lakers or AJ DeBonza right now. But I will tell you that I think JB did a tremendous job. But I think the Knicks are going to wipe the floor with the Cavs. Wipe the floor with them. The Knicks are playing the best basketball in the NBA right now. They are. So it's going to be Knicks Thunder in the finals. And that's when you got to make a decision on, do you want to see the Knicks, go back to the top of the mountain, or do you want to see Oklahoma City continue this quiet dynasty that they're putting together in the Midwest that nobody wants to care about?
Look, Pete, I like the Bickerstaff stuff. And we've been complimentary of him because they are a scorer away. They're a lethal. They're LeBron and the Heat sign Ray Allen away from true contention in a game where, hey, nobody's really on, who's the automatic guy that's going to give you points on the board? And the Pistons lacked that when it mattered the most, and it's what nearly lost them that first series. It's what lost them this series in 7 is, hey, the offense might only put up 99. We'll force you to score 89. We'll win the game that way. But if you're hitting shots, we can't win. I think Detroit will work on that in the offseason. You mentioned that name, A.J. DeBonsa. Oh, hot button point. Pete Souza, ESPN, NBC Sports, Westwood One joining us. DeBonsa to... I said on this show, DeBonsa to the Utah Jazz is a guarantee if the Washington Wizards really want to leverage their position right now and still get an elite player like a Darren Peterson or a Cam Boozer. Is A.J. DeBonsa a player on the Utah Jazz, the number 1 overall pick to the Utah Jazz in a couple months?
Man, I think the only real problem with that is that the Wizards are playing with house money, like you said, and they're going to ask for a ton, or they're going to look for other suitors. I totally agree. The Wiz are looking to leverage this. But if you're the Jazz, are you going to give a Keontae George? Are you going to give an Ace Bailey? Are you going to give a Jaren Jackson Jr.? Probably not. Unless there is that thing that you and I know about, right? Like I've called a bunch of games in Provo over the past few years, specifically last year. And Danny Ainge is there every single game, watching those players, specifically DeBonsa, right? Falling in love with AJ, falling in love with his father. Like Danny Ainge and Ace DeBonsa are like good buddies. I have to imagine, as much as Danny Ainge is a killer and he's a shrewd businessman and basketball ops guy, if that like personal touch is there, and you and I know the strength of those relationships out in BYU, right? And that family, that is, to your point, I think it's a pretty bold prediction, but not a bad one, to say that somehow, some way, DeBonsa ends up on the Jazz. It could be a coup. And look, I think DeBonsa is that good that I know it kills you to get rid of an Ace Bailey or one of your young pieces, but that would really assure you the opportunity to get that number 1 pick. And I don't even think it's close between A.J. DeBonsa and Darren Peterson. I don't ever remember, Drake, in my history of covering and being a part of the NBA, a guy who shut it down, turned it on, talking about Peterson now, missed a ton of games. Okay, my body's cramping. You know, I called the Oklahoma State game where he just took himself right out of the game, right in front of my eyes on NBC after scoring 21 points because he kind of felt something coming in his leg. I've never seen a guy do that and then excel and be a killer in the NBA. I think of guys like Ben Simmons. I don't think of guys like Michael Jordan when I think about that type of behavior. And coupled with the fact that DeBonsa really is that good. Like I mentioned, his dad, you and I, everybody's seen him play. He's got like the DNA of an absolute MFer. And I think that that's why you see Utah try to do anything they can, which is maybe somebody like an Ace Bailey. And people say, no, that's not going to happen. But I think that there are personal relationships here that could kind of defy odds when you look at that whole BYU family and what's going on and some of the players in this thing.
Pete, incredibly grateful for your time early this morning. Where can folks find more of your NBA draft coverage, NBA coverage, your UFC coverage? You'll be doing it all on the Pete Souza Show, right? Come on.
So pissed about that UFC fight, man. I'm so upset. If you watch my show today, 10 a.m. Central Time, the Pete Souza Show, I'll be opening up, talking a little bit of UFC. But then, of course, we're talking NBA, we're talking PGA Championship, and also calling games, obviously, ESPN and NBC during football and basketball season. And you can hear me on Westwood One Saturday, 7 to 11, baby. I'll be rocking and rolling hardcore. It's going to be a blast.
Love it, Pete. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your relationship. You're one of the good ones.
Drake Toll, you're one of the best, brother. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Absolutely. When we come back, there it is. Spurs Thunder, real NBA title. I think so. The Knicks are a great story, though. It's going to create for a great NBA title. When we come back, what happened last night to the Detroit Pistons? We'll play you that J.B. Bickerstaff quote, by the way, him saying that we're not disappointed. Cade Cunningham, he disagreed. He had much more pointed things to say about his team and that loss. It's Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Addie Bates producing, Curtis Poindexter runs the board. This is the Drake Toll Show.
The Rams, led by NFL MVP.
sweet little body as you're rolling in the caddy with me.
It's the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. By virtue of that, it would mean that I am Drake Toll. Good morning, and thank you for listening along on the Westwood One Sports app, or listening along on the podcast. You can listen to the entire show. Like, oh man, I missed the first hour where this guy yelled aggressively about Aaron Rodgers being a cancer to Pittsburgh and being an issue for the Steelers. The fact that they bent to his will is a bad thing. You can listen back to that. Wherever you get your podcasts, it's there. Last night, Cleveland Cavaliers took down the Detroit Pistons in 7 games. And J.D. Bickerstaff, the coach of the Pistons, said that they're not, wait a second. Not this what? Oh, what? Not disappointed. They didn't fall short of anything? That's the quote for the 1-seed Pistons? They didn't fall short of anything? Here is the audio from Bickerstaff postgame.
I'm not saying in the guys necessarily, but the season as a whole, and also I'm sure you had higher expectations. Falling far short of that, I guess, is that.
I don't think we fell short of anything, and I don't like the direction of your question. I'll be honest with you. These guys have improved massively and done a great job. Anything other than positivity towards this group is unacceptable. The turnaround from where we've come from, what these guys have been willing to do. Yeah, everybody wants to win a championship every year. But, how much did you grow? How much did you improve? Did you sacrifice for the greater good of the team? Our guys did that collectively every single day, and we got better. We put ourselves in position to be here. So there's nothing disappointing about, this group and the outcome of this.
If you lose in 6 or 7 games that were tightly contested and, oh man, almost got them, but ball didn't break your way, and, in the end you lacked one piece or a guy got hurt, then maybe it's more reasonable to say, I don't think we fell short of anything, or there's nothing disappointing about this group. But let me ask you this. If you lose a Game 7 at home by 31 points. If you lose a Game 7, the 8 seed already took you to the brink. You did a great job to rally in that one. You shouldn't have been at the brink against the 8 seed. And then the Cavs, who you were a better team than, win in 7. How do you say, I don't think we fell short of anything? How do you say there's nothing disappointing about this? 31-point loss at home. Fans hitting the exits. I don't like that. If I'm a fan of the Pistons, that's not what I want to hear out of my head coach. Cade Cunningham, he gave a much better response. He gave a response I'd want to hear as a fan of the Detroit Pistons. Here's Cunningham postgame.
Obviously didn't end the season on the note you guys wanted to end it on.
Yeah. That game sucked. Being back home, definitely wanted to get this win from the fans. Reminded me of last year, losing on the home court. It's not a great feeling. So I hadn't been thinking about the off season. So, my mind's been racing now, trying to figure out, what I got to do, what it's going to look like. That's really it.
That's, for the reporter to say something along the lines of just the game, this didn't go how you expected. Cunningham says, tonight sucked. Whereas J.B. Bickerstaff, the head coach, says, whoa, hey. I hate how you phrase that question. Tonight went exactly as we expected. We're proud. I just don't like it in this context. For the Pistons last night, no player scored more than 17 points. Cade Cunningham, 5 for 16, 13 points. You driving your car, you driving the bus, you sitting in your living room right now, listening and watching the Drake Toll Show, had the same number of three-pointers as Cade Cunningham. Same number of three-pointers as Cade Cunningham and Tobias Harris combined. They went 0 for 9. Tobias Harris had 5 points. Talked about he could be a sneaky catalyst for this series, for Detroit to win against Cleveland. He wasn't. He didn't show up in Game 7. Neither did Cunningham offensively. Meaning that Donovan Mitchell gets to go to the conference finals for the first time in his career after competing in the rock-solid, hardcore West for the Utah Jazz. Now he moves to the East and reaches the Eastern Conference Finals. First time the Cavs have done so without LeBron James. Here's Donovan Mitchell on this landmark.
This is the first time that you have gotten to the conference finals. For you, what does this mean?
A breath of fresh air, but like you said, we didn't just come here that wasn't the goal when we started the season. Even last year, when we lost Indiana, we had our goals set on getting to the finals, and we're just one step closer. But yeah, it's been almost a decade of running into the same issue, right? Like, you know what I mean? So sure, I personally and as a team we can breathe a little bit, but in the same token, we can only breathe for about 12 hours and then get right back to it. So it's a balance. It's a blessing. God is good. I wouldn't be here without my teammates, but we got work to do coming up for sure.
Donovan Mitchell, conference finals. The Cavs will meet the Knicks tonight. The San Antonio Spurs. Oh, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Ooh. It's in OKC and over in the NHL. The Canadians and the Sabres. Game 7 in Buffalo, where the Sabres have struggled. They did not struggle the other night, dominating the Canadians to stay alive by a final score of 8-3. Can Buffalo close it out, or does Montreal win on the road? And congratulations to Aaron Rye, the two-glove guy, winning the PGA Championship this weekend and booking his name in some of the biggest tournaments in the world for the next 5 years to come. Great weekend in sports. It's time. Happy Monday. For Music Monday, Addie Bates has 5 songs, 5 seconds of each of the 5 songs. She will play them, and I will try to guess what the hell they are.
I don't know if you'll get any of these. I think you'll get 2.
Right.
I think you'll get 2, but maybe I'm underestimating.
I'm still living with. Is one of them Santa Monica by Everclear?
Nope. But I'm glad you know it. I'm glad you know it.
Only took like 6 times of remembering it.
I'm getting there.
That's generous. All right, Curtis, what's the first song?
Okay. All right. Well, this isn't good. Song number 2.
I'm so scared that I'll never get put back together. Keep breaking.
And this is how we are.
Okay, number 3.
That first step, ask her out and treat her like a lady.
Song number 4. How do Okay, so are any of these real songs or just like AI creates?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Or are you kidding me?
Okay, I can do some surgery here on second reference. I can hear them and I can. Okay, breathe. Song number 1.
I think even Curtis probably knows that song.
That's like a Nirvana. It's not Nirvana, obviously, but it's like Nirvana-inspired. Linkin Park.
Franz Ferdinand, Take Me Out.
Curtis!
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes!
Okay. Song number 2. Okay. I want 2 guesses on the artist. Is it Counting Crows?
No.
The Black Crows?
No. No crows.
Marcy's Playground.
If you could name a song by them other than Sex and Candy.
Yeah, I can't. No one can.
Matchbox 20?
What's the name of the song?
Bent. It was a hit.
Bent is the name?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep,
Arch
man.
Manning.
That first step, ask her out and treat her like a lady.
Testing your country knowledge.
It's like a young Kenny Rodgers. I don't know what that is, but I like it. I'd like you. Please send me that song. I'm going to call you in 3 weeks. But what was that one song?
I'll put it in your calendar for you.
Who is
Eddie Rabbit, Step by Step.
Eddie Rabbit. Okay, I like Eddie Rabbit. All right, last one.
This is number 4, by the way.
I don't know. Who is it? Yeah.
Mariah Carey, Fantasy.
God bless. All right, last one.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin.
Oh, darling, by the Beatles.
Oh no, that was the Beatles.
Yes, that's Oh, Darling off of Abbey Road. It's one of their biggest hits.
Oh, this is not. I went 0 for 10 today.
Yeah, but
Well,
Curtis got
that's
one,
bad.
so Curtis is a winner. Curtis is a winner.
Curtis is the biggest winner today. Addie Bates produces. Curtis Poindexter runs the board. Poindexter. Armin Williams, Bruce Gilbert, Colin Jones, and Ryan McGuire. I love you. This has been and always will be the Drake Toll Show.
This is Westwood One's